Hi, my name is Lisa Harris, and I'm from the University of Utah, and we're going to be talking about cultivating congruence in teaching presence in hybrid and asynchronous courses. We're going to talk about student perceptions first of all. In the hybrid course that I taught last semester, I recently had an interaction with a student that pointed to a perceived incongruence between my teaching presence in the synchronous mode and in my asynchronous mode. He told me that he thought that I was a lot nicer in person. And I asked him why he thought that, and he said, well, it's something about your tone. Jason Doctor retells a similar experience in his article, The Problem of Teaching Presence in Transactional Theories of Distance Education. His student said, from your emails, I just didn't think you were very nice. So, Doctor notes that the use of tone is a very difficult aspect in communicating online because students construct their own meanings and they don't have the same kind of guides that you do when you have face-to-face communication. So in asynchronous communication, you don't have voice or gestures or facial expressions. So we need to do something to kind of moderate the tones. We have to be really thoughtful and deliberate as teachers. So the first thing I would say is don't react, respond. Think first and be really thoughtful about what you're going to say. So sometimes that means taking a break and walking away from an email and not just responding flippantly or in the moment, but taking some time to think about it. And being thoughtful even about things like punctuation. Don't use a million exclamation points. Or conversely, I have a daughter who's college age who tells me that she thinks that I'm mad at her if I use periods in a statement. So one exclamation point might be something that might be valuable to use. So also things that you can do, active listening, really think about what are they asking me, what are they trying to say, and to use empathy and try to be kind to the students and think about what are they really thinking in this moment. The importance of teaching presence in Garrison, Anderson, and Archer's community of inquiry theoretical framework has been widely accepted. Likewise, as the number of online courses in university settings increases, research regarding the best practices of teaching presence in online courses has increased as well. So hybrid courses seem to kind of offer the best of both worlds. So people want to enroll in those courses, but you still need to be really mindful of this idea of teaching presence because it's really important. Teaching presence is essential in building classroom dynamics because teaching presence is the basis of social presence, which facilitates cognitive presence. Teaching presence can also be problematic sometimes because while teachers can work to construct it, they can neither create nor control how the students are going to construct their perception of your teaching presence. It's also essential because it's so important and it facilitates cognitive presence, which I talked about in the last slide. It's also paradoxical, and this is an important thing that I learned as I was teaching, is that the more that you focus on your teaching presence, the less it becomes about you, and the more it becomes student-centered. Therefore, it's important to seek out student feedback. Anson et al. Says it's less about teaching than it is about strengthening student and teacher relationships. To enhance teaching presence, use a student-centered approach. So that means focusing on soliciting student feedback. I think that's maybe the most important thing you can do is really focus on what's going to help them the most. And I would incentivize this. You can use Qualtrics quizzes or any other ways that you want to, or incentivize things so that you can get student feedback to see how they're really feeling. And focus on relationships that you can build with each student. And that can be through email, that can be in comments, that can be in a lot of different ways. Videos are great, and I do think you need to create videos just so that they can see that you are a real person and that you actually are human and that you're reading their papers, that you have a voice, and you can see some of those gestures and all of the things that they're missing by not having you face to face with them. The final thing would be to provide meta commentary about assignments. Provide meta commentary on almost everything, because if you're doing an asynchronous course or even a hybrid course, you need more communication than if you have a face-to-face course. You need to be able to explain more things. So provide more instruction there. And as we focus on our relationships with individual students, both in the classroom and online, and seek their feedback, we can co-author a congruent teaching presence that encourages trust and actively builds individual and classroom communities. Thanks so much for coming to this presentation. Here's my works cited page. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is on the first slide. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.